welcome to the Eldenwood craft channel. My name's Emma. I'm a knitter and the maker behind Eldenwood craft project bags and accessories for makers. This is my corner of the internet where I get to talk to you about all the things that I've been making since my last video. Today is Tuesday the 16th of November and this is episode 35. You are all very welcome here. Thank you for spending a little bit of your precious time with me today. And thank you also for all the likes and comments on my last video. I enjoyed reading those very much. Thank you. You'll find show notes for the things that I've been talking about in this video today in the description box underneath the video, and also on my website, which is... Oh, there's the printer going off. Or not. No, it's closing down. Sorry. Anyway, so show notes, description box underneath the video, and also my website, which is eldenwoodcraft.com. The show notes contain links to all the patterns that I'm going to talk about today, to other makers that I talk about, so on and so forth, and also all the places that you can find me online. But I also have a little graphic here which I will put up that has got all the important links for my places online. That was a very rambled way of saying that, apologies, but if you've been here before you will know that that is the way of such things. Okay, what have we got in today's show? I don't think this is going to be a long episode. I haven't got a lot of knitting that I can show you. Having said that, I've got 3 things. 2 are on the go and 1 is finished. And I've got a little bit of admin at the beginning to run through. Well, I should say what I'm wearing. This you will recognise if you've been here before as my Stripes sweater by Andrea Mowry. It's knit in Drops Nord, and I have been wearing it a lot. My comments in the last video were that I wasn't sure about it in terms of the yoke. I was having a bit of a debate about myself about a yoke sweater versus a raglan sweater, and I was veering away from this style of yoked sweater, but actually I've been wearing this an awful lot and I absolutely love it. So yeah, I like it that much that I would knit another one. So we've gone full circle with this sweater. The yarn, as I mentioned, is Drops Nord, and it's just so comfortable. It's wearing really well. As I said, I've worn it a lot and you can't see any pilling there, I don't think. It's really warm. It's nice and soft, but I think it's quite hardy. Yeah, so all in all, I'm really pleased with this. I will leave a link to my pattern pages in the description box down below. Okay, so let's start with a little bit of admin before we get into all the good knitting stuff. The only bit of admin really to talk about is the Make 9 Makealong, which is drawing to an end. It will finish at the end of December. There have been quite a lot of finished objects posted in the finished object thread in the Ravelry group this quarter so far, so thank you for that. I have had a really lovely couple of prizes in for a couple of winners at the end of the year from a company called Growing Wilder. You will probably recognise one of the things that I show you. It's been a bit of a hit with or probably actually you might recognise both of them actually. It's been a bit of a hit with makers in recent years. Growing Wilder is a company. I made some notes to make sure I got this right. So they make sustainable and ethical homewares and it's a company that's run by illustrator Georgia Camden, and it's also supported by her mum, Louise, who is Knitting Poppy on Instagram. Louise is a marvellous knitter, and I'm often inspired by things that she makes, and Louise got in touch to see if we would like a prize from Growing Wilder, it's so early in the episode and I'm getting tongue-tied already. Right, Growing Wilder is a company run by Georgia Camden and her mum, Louise. I know Louise through the knitting world, and Louise contacted me to see if we would like a couple of prizes. So these arrived a little while ago, and they're absolutely stunning. Two really beautiful prints. So this one is a woman who is knitting with leaves and flowers. I bought myself a copy of this print, gosh, 2 or 3 years ago now, and I've got it up in my room. I love it so much. And then this one is a woman who is sewing sunflowers into a blanket, I guess, or just making a lovely blanket out of sunflowers. Isn't it beautiful? So these will be 2 prizes for the end of year prize draw in the Makealong. So thank you so much to Georgia and to Louise for offering that. A couple of people are going to be very lucky winners. Yeah, so that's really all I've got for the admin section. Keep posting your finished objects in the Ravelry thread. I will give some thought over the next month as to what we do with the Makealong next year, whether it goes ahead or not. I quite like to do some other Makealongs, and I find that my energy, I don't have the energy or the brain space to run more than one, so I suspect we'll probably continue with the Make 9 because a lot of people have asked me already if we're going to be doing it, so we'll see. We'll see. I think so, probably. Anyway, right, what have I been working on? So I've got a finished object to share with you. It's here. You've seen this almost finished before. This is the Turtle Dove sweater. It's a free pattern by Espace Tricot. It is knit using the pattern's recommended yarn, which is Drops Air, which is an Aran weight yarn. This is a beautiful, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's got a beautiful halo to it. It's a blow construct yarn, which is a new technology, new way of making yarn. Sorry, words are not coming naturally today. I really enjoyed making this. I had a few problems with the bind off of the sleeves, if you remember from my last episode, so I pulled those out and I redid the bind off. And I'm much happier with it now. The bind off that I used was called Laurie's Twist. Oh, alarm going off on my phone. Sorry. The bind off that I used was Laurie's Twisty bind off, which is a knitted bind off, and you do a little twist of the needle at one point through the process of each stitch. Really easy and really effective. It's let's see if I can show you. It's still got a nice twist, a nice stretch to it, but it's quite a firm and stable bind off, so it doesn't flare out, which was what my first bind off did. I think I used Jenny's stretchy bind off the first time I did it. yeah, and it didn't look very nice. So yeah, so I redid the bind off on the sleeve. I did say that I was thinking about turning the neck down, but I haven't worn it yet, so I don't know whether that neck is going to irritate me. It's been so warm here. I mean, it's the middle of November, and other than the radiators in our bathroom, we haven't had the heating on, which is mad. It's not great, is it? November should be cold, and it just hasn't been. But I think hopefully over the next few weeks I'll be able to start wearing this, and I will make an assessment about the neck. I made size 4 and used 300 grams exactly of yarn, which is 6 balls of the Drops Air. I have a funny feeling it's on offer at the moment in Wool Warehouse, which is where I bought it from. This is is it the mid grey, I think? All the details are on my Ravelry project page. But it's and it's a good value yarn anyway. I think normally it's around about £4 a ball, and the Wool Warehouse sale, I don't know what it dropped down to, but yeah, if you're interested, it's a good opportunity to go and pick some up at a really good price. The only thing I would say about the yarn is that it sheds horribly, and I have found myself, after I finished a knitting session on it, just covered in the, I think it's an alpaca, but you know, that's what you get when you knit with these sorts of yarns. It's hazard of the trade, isn't it? But it's such, you know, it's so soft, and so it feels like it's going to be really beautifully worn, so I cannot wait to wear this. So yeah, highly recommend it. I would definitely knit another one. I would knit another one in the same yarn despite its sheddiness. Yeah, so really pleased with that. I don't think there's anything else to say. Yeah, that's it. Pop that there. Okay, the 2 projects that I've got on the go. Gosh, this is gonna be a really quick episode, but you know, that's no bad thing. So I've been most of my knitting time over the last month has been taken up with a test knit that I can't show you at the moment, but I have finished that, and I think it's going to be released fairly soon, so hopefully in the next episode I will be able to share that with you. So my other patterns that I've been making haven't had as much work on as I would normally do, but what I can show you, if you remember in the last episode I was knitting a pair of Fragment socks. They were my socks for the Little Drops of Wonderful Strictly Sock Along for 2021, and I was nearly finished the first sock, and that is now finished. So this is a pair of socks knit from Norah George yarns, that's the main green, and that is Tracy's Fitzwilliam Darcy colourway. And the contrast heel, I can't remember what that was, and I don't think I knew at the time. I think it was a skein of unknown origin, or a mini of unknown origin, but it's lovely and it contrasts really nicely. The Fragment sock is a pattern by Helen Stewart, who is Curious Handmade, and it's a very addictive knit. You can see it's made, or you can just about see, it's made using some a cable pattern. I don't know how well that's coming out. I have been cabling without a cable needle. I've dropped a few stitches. I have gone wrong in quite a few places. I've sort of missed my count, my row count and so on, but actually I've just been really enjoying knitting them. I don't really mind that there are some mistakes in them. They're just that the yarn, I think, really is the superstar with this, and I should be pleased to have the second one off the needles. Let me show you how far I've got with that. Ooh. Yes, so I'm knitting these as an afterthought. So the heel that I'm knitting is an afterthought heel. It's the umbrella toe from Kay Jones's Umbrella Socks. So the second sock I've knit the leg, I have placed my markers for where the heel is going, and I am now working my way down the foot. So not too much more to knit on that. Looks really odd, doesn't it? It looks really skinny and sucked in. That's the rib in it. Yeah, not too much more to knit. Hopefully it'll be finished by the end of this season of Strictly, which is when it should be finished for. What else can I tell you about it? The pattern's really well written. Helen Stewart's patterns always are. And I really love this pattern. I really love the way the cables look, and it had been a pattern that I had wanted to knit for many, many years. And I just thought the yarn and the pattern were a marriage made in heaven. So yeah, that is the Fragment sock by Helen Stewart. I'm knitting it on I'm knitting them on, I think they're Chalgoos. No, they're higher DPNs, 2.25mm needles. I've been knitting all my socks recently on DPNs, whereas a little while ago I was knitting all my socks on Magic Loop, on circulars. It's funny, isn't it, how you like a little bit of variety sometimes. I used to knit my socks on DPNs and fell out of love with DPNs, and then got rid of all my DPNs. So when I had the urge this time round to knit with DPNs, I had to go and buy a load more, which is silly. So there's a lesson. Even if you think you're not going to knit with needles anymore, unless you absolutely hate them, don't throw them out, because you never know what might happen. Anyway, so Fragment socks, almost done. Pop them down there. The other pattern that I have been knitting, I'm really enjoying this. So in my last episode I showed you some yarn that I bought from a shop in Frome in Somerset called All About the Yarn. So this was this. Oops, it's a bit messy. Hang on, that really bothers me. Let me just tidy that up. So I've been to All About Yarn for a birthday trip and had bought these two lovely skeins, Isager Tweed and Isager Silk Mohair. And I had bought them with the intention of making the Stockholm Slipover, which is a pattern by Petite Knits. I have got a picture of it there. You can see that. I was watching a little while ago Zoe from Pins and Needles, and she kept all her patterns that she was working on a clipboard, and I thought that was a really good idea. So I have copied Zoe completely, and all my patterns that I'm working on are now on here, and it's really good having them all in one place, all easily accessible. And the one that I'm working on, I just moved to the top. This was I think I got this from Amazon actually. It's just really pretty. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the Stockholm Slipover, patterned by Petite Knit. And this is how far I have got. If I can show it the right way round. There we are. It's not coming along too badly. This is another beautifully soft fabric. It's interesting. So this is the first time that I have knit holding any yarn with mohair, or so this is alpaca silk, but you know, that sort of yarn. And I didn't think it was something that I would actually enjoy that much, but I do. I really like the fabric that it makes. This yarn, which is the Isager Tweed, on its own is quite sticky and a little bit rustic, and probably not something I would wear next to my skin. But when you add the silk, the alpaca silk in, sorry, it's irritating my nose. When you add the alpaca silk in, it creates something really beautiful and super soft, and I hope that's coming out, but the halo on this is lovely. So I bought 3 skeins of each of these, which these are 50 grams and these are 25 grams. I thought, and that's what the pattern calls for, I didn't think it was going to be enough. I now think it's going to be absolutely plenty. And so for 150 grams of each yarn, you can actually get a really decent garment. It surprised me. Yeah, so what can I say about this? The yarn is the yarn that's recommended in the pattern. I didn't swatch. I didn't swatch for this, and I didn't swatch for that. I know I'm a bad knitter, but so far it's all worked out fine. And I haven't actually tried this on, but holding it up, I think the fit's going to be absolutely fine. The construction is a construction that I've not used before. You knit the back, the top half of the back, and then you pick up stitches for the shoulders and knit down the front and then join at the front. Knit backwards and forwards on the front, and then you join in the round for the rest of the body. And it's just a thoroughly enjoyable knit. I think I've probably said before that that was 25 minutes of camera, so at least I've got a decent amount of film to share with you today. I was just saying that I have said in previous episodes that I really enjoy just knitting round and round and round, and funnily enough, I was watching lovely Kelly from Lay Family Yarns on her podcast this morning while I was having my breakfast, and she said exactly the same thing. She loves nothing more than the meditative, easy round and round of plain stocking stitch. It's how she can unwind, and I understand that completely. I don't mind a tricky pattern at all, but I think I just love knitting plain in the round knit stitches. So I wonder if this will be finished by the time I record again. I hope so. I intend to just wear it with like long sleeve t-shirts in the winter. I don't think our house, if you haven't watched before, we moved house here in the summer. It's a new build house, and I don't think it's going to be very cold, so things like this rather than this are going to be really handy. Did I make any other notes? Not really. No, so let's see if I can get this finished for the next time I record a podcast. Maybe I'll even wear it. I hope so. Oh, I was actually going to say something else about it. So these 2 different skeins of yarn, they're almost identical in meterage. This one I think is 200-ish grams per 200-ish meters per 50 grams, and this is 212 per 25 grams. So the meterage is almost identical. However, this first ball of this ran out quite a long way before the first ball of this ran out, and I don't really understand why that would be. The fact that they're different weights of yarn shouldn't make a difference if they're both going round the same size needle. So you've got different weights but the same length, and in my head that tells me that they should both finish roughly at the same time. So I don't know if one of the balls, I don't know if this was heavy on the meterage or this one was light on the meterage, but yeah, that was just an observation that I made as I was changing yarns. I'm knitting, must tell you about the needles, mustn't I? I'm knitting these on Chalgu, I don't think they're bamboo, is it Chalgu patina? They're really nice. I said in my last episode that I'm enjoying knitting on wooden needles quite a lot at the moment, and yeah, they're slightly more grippy, and I absolutely have no issue with really super slick needles. I quite enjoy that, but the feel of the wood in my hands at the moment is really something that I'm quite enjoying. I have found since going full-time with Eldenwood Craft, my hands are getting quite tired, and I've had a little bit of pain in my fingers, and I think that's just from working with my hands 5 days a week, and it's not something that I was expecting, but had I thought about it I should have expected it. So perhaps the wood, the warmth that the wood gives off when you handle them, maybe that's a bit more comfortable in my hands than metal needles at the moment. I need to look up some hand exercises for makers, don't I, and start to do those. Anyway, so that's my Stockholm Slipover, a lovely knit. Can't wait to get that finished. Okay, so that's everything. I have been working away on my habitation throw, but I'm not going to show you that today, partly because I didn't bring it up, and partly because there's not an awful lot more to see on it. I've knit a few more rows, but I've been busy with other things, so I will probably show you that next time. Coming up, I haven't got anything to show you coming up, but I just thought I'd mention briefly what I'm going to be making and probably what you'll see on the next episode. So it's the middle of November. I need to get my Christmas gift knitting done and dusted. I haven't started it yet. I'm only making one thing. It's a hat for my mum. It's the Aspen hat. I made her one of these last year. She asked for it in red because she's always liked red knitwear and stuff. And then a couple of months ago she said, you know that hat that you made me? I don't think I like the red. Can I have one in a more neutral colour? So I've got some wool coming, some yarn coming this week from Wool Warehouse, some Malabrigo Rios in a, I think it's the Sandbank colourway, so sort of a beigey, taupey, browny colour. And that is the hat that I will be making, the Aspen hat by Melissa Shashwari. It's a cabled hat. I enjoyed making it last year, so hopefully that will be off the needles next time I record, because I need to get it up to my mum. I also, when my Stockholm Slipover is finished, I want to knit a flax light in stash yarn, fingering weight stash yarn. I haven't decided which skeins I'm going to use, but I'd like to knit one of those. And then advent calendars. I've got 2 advent calendars coming this year. One I picked up last week from Jess at Loom Wool. So Jess lives quite close to me, and I went over to pick it up. I haven't opened it. I haven't even opened the box, so I don't know what it looks like inside. I'm saving that until December the 1st. But I am thinking that probably what I will knit with that will be another litmus cowl. I've been wearing the litmus cowl that I made earlier this year quite a lot so far this autumn. The litmus cowl is a pattern from Stranded Dye Works, from Jude at Stranded Dye Works. I absolutely love it. It's one of the favourite things that I have ever knit, and I'd quite like to make another one. I would probably have the so use the minis along with a skein of undyed merino yak nylon, I think. Anyway, I'll show it to you all next time, assuming that's what I make, and then use the loom wool minis as the contrast stripes in that pattern. I've got a second advent calendar to come as well, and I am taking part, or I signed up to take part in Lay Family Yarns Advent Swap, and I am paired up with Alice, and we're just putting our advent calendars together at the moment. Mine is over there. I'm waiting for something to come in the post. And then Alice, I don't know if you watch. If you do, it will be off to you next week. I've got all the minis and bags and things to wrap up, so I'll be doing that this weekend. Oh, also this weekend, talking of weekends, I'm going to Flock on Saturday, which is a get-together of Southwest Yarnies run by Bird Street Yarn. So that's really exciting. I'm going to get to meet for the first time some people that I've known on Instagram for a long time. So if you're going, let me know in the comments below. It'd be lovely to say hello. And it'll be the first yarn event that I've been to since the pandemic. So that's really exciting. I don't know whether I'll film anything. I will try and be brave and get my camera out in public, but that's I haven't got to my comfort zone with that yet. So vlogging and that sort of thing isn't something I feel particularly comfortable with, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything knitting wise. I thought I would, however, just show you some of the things that I've got in my shop at the moment. I need to go and get them from over there, so I'm going to switch the camera off, have a bit of a break, and then I will come back. Okay, I'm back. So in my shop, I had an update a couple of weeks ago, of both ready to ship and made to order bags. A lot of the ready ship have sold out, but I have got plenty of bags still available as made to order. And I'm currently turning bags around in about 2 weeks. Obviously that depends on workload levels. But I thought I would show you an example of what I have been working on this week. These will be going out at the end of the week, along with, I've got a big pile of fabric all cut out there that I need to finish over the next couple of days to get those out on Friday. So I offer my bags in 4 standard sizes: small, everyday, midi and extra large. I've got some examples of the first 3 here. I don't have any extra larges to show you. The small is good for a 1 skein project, so a pair of socks, that sort of thing. Everyday bags will fit up to 3 fingering weight 100 gram skeins. So think large shawls, baby garments, that sort of thing. And then midis fit up to, I think it's 5 or 6 100 gram fingering weight skeins. So good for a light sweater, starting off of bigger projects, that sort of thing. So you'll see the different sizes here. So in the small range in the shop at the moment, I've got a number of what I'm sort of dubbing my Christmas Eve cast on bags, and these are what I've got made up at the moment. So these are all beautiful prints, sort of whimsical, folksy woodland animals. So we've got a fox. I should have given these names, shouldn't I? Freddie the fox, Olivia the owl, and can't think of an S. Seraphina the stag. No, stags are male, aren't they? Stanley Stanley the stag. I really love these. They come, so we've got print on one side and some lovely Essex linen on the back. Yeah, and the other animals in the range, there are 8 different animals altogether. So we've got the stag, the owl, the fox. There are squirrels, there's a bird, there's a hedgehog, there's a rabbit, and what's the 8th? I can't remember. It'll come to me once I've finished recording probably. So yeah, so the smalls. These are nice and quick to make up, and if you order sort of in the next couple of weeks, you should get them in time for Christmas. I'm going to put a post on my website probably this week about last posting times for Christmas. International customers, I offer an economy postage option for those who find sort of standard postage prohibitive. It can be quite expensive to post out from the UK. Just be aware that if you order that, if you use the economy option now, that there's a good chance that you won't get your orders in time for Christmas, if that is important to you. I do say that in my listings as well, so yeah, just be alert to that. So the everyday size bags, which are good for, as I said, 2 to 3 skein projects. I've got a couple of examples here. So this is my hiking fabric, and this is a lovely wintry minty colour fabric. You can see the difference in the size. This has got a box bottom, this one is just flat, so this does fit quite a lot more in than the small. So yeah, that's the everyday. And then the midi, I've got a couple of midis here. So this is the midi, and again you can see there's quite a decent size difference between the two. The midi, unless photographed without, all my midis these days come with a side handle. This is a beautiful soft cotton webbing. I don't know that the camera will pick up quite how lovely it is. And all the bags come with a couple of pockets as well. And yeah, good for lighter garments, small sweaters. I will use one of these for my flax light. Actually, the where is it? My Stockholm Slipover is currently housed in a midi size bag. This one isn't available in my shop, but there is absolutely loads of room left in here. Yeah, so that works quite nicely. And then the other midi that I've got is one of my sheep bags. I don't have any of these available quite yet, but I will be adding some more made to order options into the shop probably later this week. I've got loads of fabric, but I just have to sort of measure how much I put in the shop to allow me to manage my workload. So yeah, if you're interested in sort of being kept up to date with what's going on in my shop, then I recommend signing up to the newsletter that I send out. I try and do it at try and send it out at the start of each month. Newsletter subscribers will get advance notice of all my big shop updates. They are also going to be offered, I wrote about this in my last newsletter, starting in January I'm going to be offering a subscriber only bag fabric that won't be made available on general release to the wider public for at least a year after it's been offered to subscribers. So that will be starting in January. You don't have to be signed up in January. You can sign up sign up to the newsletter at any point during the year, and you will be offered the bag. When you get the next newsletter edition, it will have the link to the place on my website where these are being offered. I've still got to work out the technicalities of it all, which I'll do in December, and I need to get choosing the fabric that I'm going to use for the first couple of months of this collection, but that's all stuff that I will do offline. Okay, I think that's everything that I have got to talk to you about today. I hope you're all keeping well. We are absolutely fine here. The there's not much to tell really from a life update. I've been busy with the shop. You're all keeping me really busy, which is brilliant. Thank you. I'm really enjoying full-time Eldenwood craft working. We're working away at making our new house into our home. My husband spends the weekends out in the garden digging out the vegetable patch, and he's extending the patio. And my daughter's up in university at Lincoln, and yeah, we went up to see her this weekend just gone. Had a lovely weekend. The sun was shining, and it was just lovely to see her. I had a lovely mother-daughter hug, and it was brilliant. I'd really missed that. But yeah, we won't see her again now until I go and pick her up for Christmas, so that's about 5 weeks away. Yeah, so sad. I miss her, but she's enjoying herself, so that's what's important. Anyway, that's all I will talk about today. I will be back in December, and hopefully I'll have some finished objects and some new projects on the needles to talk to you about. So keep well, enjoy the cooler months. If you're watching in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll be heading into your summer in the Southern Hemisphere, so enjoy that. I can't wait for us to get through the winter months and into spring. But yeah, we've got a lot of chatting to do before then. So I will draw a line under today's episode. I will see you in December, and look forward to it. Thanks. Bye bye.